The most powerful person in the room is often the quietest one. In a world of noise, where everyone's posting, talking, performing to be seen, what if the most intimidating thing is not what you say, but what you don't show? What if presence, not volume, is what commands the room? Because while most people try to prove they belong, the one who says less, moves less, reveals less, becomes the one no one can ignore. True power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't compete for attention. It doesn't try to be respected. It just is. And the people who carry that energy? They don't chase approval. They don't explain their value. They make the room adjust to them. Today, you'll learn how to become that kind of person, without saying a single word. Marcus Aurelius and the presence that shifts the room. There's a story from the Roman court, one that never made it into the movies, but says everything about what true presence looks like. During a heated council, tempers were rising, voices escalated, men argued, lines were drawn. It was chaos, until Marcus Aurelius walked in. He didn't shout, he didn't slam the table, he didn't even raise an eyebrow. He just stood, still, grounded, watching, and slowly, without him saying a word. The room quieted. One by one, men lowered their voices, straightened their backs, and listened. Why? Because real power doesn't push. It pulls. It doesn't chase control. It radiates certainty. Marcus didn't need to dominate the space. He was the space. He didn't command silence. He carried it with him. And that's the presence we're talking about today. This isn't about tricks or fake confidence. It's about becoming someone who changes the temperature of the room without making noise. Because once you master how to hold yourself, you start to move others. And the best part? You never have to raise your voice to be heard. So how do you build that kind of energy? How do you become quietly intimidating without saying a word? Let's start with the first and most overlooked signal: stillness. Strategy 1. Stillness is a signal. Freeze the noise, own the room. Stillness isn't emptiness. It's a language, a posture, a signal. When you walk into a room and your body is grounded, not twitching, not reacting, not adjusting to be liked, you do something subtle but powerful. You freeze the noise. Most people can't sit still. They fidget. They laugh too quickly. They shift their weight from one foot to the other. They fill every second with motion because stillness feels like exposure. But here's the truth. All that movement, it's not confidence, it's camouflage. It says, I hope I'm enough. I hope you like me. I'm not fully settled inside myself. Now picture this instead. Someone walks in, feet planted, shoulders relaxed, hands still, breath steady, no rush to smile, no urge to speak. They don't try to own the room, they already do, because stillness breaks the rhythm of reactivity. It forces everyone to adjust their frequency. It says, without saying, I don't need to move to be seen. I'm not performing for this room. I bring the temperature down just by being here. That's not stillness as absence. That's stillness as authority. Here's how to build it. Still arrival. Ritual. Every time you enter a space, pause, no immediate words, no nervous smile. Stand, breathe, let the room come to you. Anchor down. Feel the weight of your feet on the floor. Let it root you like a stone in water. No bouncing, no shifting, just presence. Eliminate the unnecessary micro-scan your body for useless movement. Loosen the jaw. Release tension in the hands. Let your stillness say what words never could. In a world addicted to motion, stillness is rebellion. Stillness is magnetic. Stillness is dangerous. It doesn't make you invisible. It makes you undeniable. And once you've owned your body, there's one signal even sharper, even more intimate: your eyes. Let's talk about how to hold a gaze that shifts the power in any room without ever saying a word. Strategy 2. The weighted gaze. Don't stare, don't flinch, just hold. Let's get one thing straight. Eye contact isn't about dominance, it's about certainty. Most people either overdo it or break it too quickly. They stare too long, too hard, trying to look tough, trying to prove something, or they look away too soon, too soft, trying to avoid discomfort, trying not to be seen. But the most powerful people, they do something else entirely. They hold, not with tension, not with fear, not with arrogance. They look at you, calm, composed, effortless, and they don't flinch. That kind of gaze carries weight. It doesn't push, it pulls. It says, I see you. I'm not rushing. And I'm not afraid to be seen either. That's what we call the weighted gaze. It's not about staring someone down. It's about not needing to look away. It's about presence and patience and pressure delivered in silence. Here's how to practice. Start in neutral situations. Practice holding soft, calm eye contact in low-stakes moments. Grocery store, barista, friend. Don't look through them. Just be there. Use the 45% rule. Maintain eye contact about 40 to 50% of the time in conversation. Not robotic, not performative, just real, just steady. Intention, go slower, not sharper. When someone challenges you, don't dart away. Hold your gaze a second longer than comfort. Let them blink first. Because in a world trained to react, stillness in the eyes is unsettling, and the person who controls the gaze often controls the pace. No need to glare, no need to intimidate, just hold and let them feel the pressure of your calm. Once you've anchored your body and eyes, it's time to speak, but not like everyone else. Let's talk about how to say less and mean more. Strategy 3. Minimal words, maximum presence. The most magnetic people in any room aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who speak the least. But when they do, you feel it. No fluff, no nervous laughter, no explaining things twice, just clean words, sharp delivery, and then silence. Because here's the paradox. When you speak less, every word becomes more powerful, and when you stop needing to be understood, you become impossible to ignore. Think about it. The last time someone said something calm, grounded, then stopped talking, didn't that moment stretch? That's presence. That's control. Because silence after a strong sentence is louder than a dozen more. Now compare that to what most people do. They rush, they ramble, they explain to be accepted, they dilute their message just to feel safe. They fill the silence because they fear the weight of it. You hear things like, I just feel like maybe, I guess what I'm trying to say is, does that make sense? Stop. Power doesn't ask for validation. Power just lands. Here's how to train that power. The 1 second rule. Before you speak, pause, not out of doubt, but as a signal. I choose my words. That 1 second changes everything. Cut the fat. Take your sentence. Slice it in half. Keep only the muscle. If it doesn't carry weight, drop it. Clarity is stronger than volume. End like a hammer. Make your last word land, then stop. Don't soften it. Don't follow it with nervous noise. Let your words echo and hold the space they create. Because here's what you're really saying when you speak with restraint. I don't need this room to validate me. I'm not performing for you. I'm already anchored, whether you get it or not. That's dominance. Not through domination, but through direction. So remember, you're not here to entertain. You're not here to prove you're smart. You're here to be understood on your own terms. And once your voice holds that gravity, everything around you starts adjusting. Now let's go deeper, because it's not just what you say, it's the speed you say it, the rhythm, the emotional tempo. Let's talk about how slowing down makes you the most dangerous one in the room. Strategy 4. Slow your tempo. Control the emotional rhythm. Most people don't realize this, but tempo, the speed at which you speak, move, breathe, is a language. And when you slow your tempo, you force the world to adjust to you. Let me explain. In most interactions, people speed up without knowing it. They match the room, they match the energy, they match the chaos. Why? Because they're afraid of friction. They want to keep things comfortable, so they chase pace. But powerful people, they do the opposite. They slow things down. They move like they've got time. They speak like there's weight behind every word. They pause long enough to make others question their own rush. This does something strange. It resets the room. It changes the dynamic, because when you're the calmest one in the space, you become the reference point, the metronome, the emotional anchor, and people, subconsciously, start syncing to you. Here's how to build that. 1. Walk slower, literally. In every room you enter, don't rush in. Let your steps say, "I'm not here to chase anything." 2. Speak 1 beat below. Slow your sentences just slightly beneath the pace of the other person. This subtly makes you the emotional lead without saying a word. 3. Pause before reacting, whether it's a compliment, an insult, or a challenge. Let there be a beat. Let silence hold the tension. That pause, that's power. Because in a fast world, the person who's not rushing feels dangerous. They're not overwhelmed. They're not reactive. They're watching. And that's what makes them impossible to move. Because they've already decided not to dance to your rhythm. Slow equals sovereign. Slow equals grounded. Slow makes people nervous, because it means you're not in a hurry to prove anything. And now, you've owned your body. You've mastered your voice. You've slowed your energy. Let's talk about the next shift. What you give or don't give emotionally. Because intimidation doesn't come from saying less. It comes from needing nothing in return. Strategy 5. Strategic detachment. Never reach first. One of the clearest signals of real power is that you never reach first. Not emotionally, not physically, not energetically. You don't chase validation. You don't rush to fill space. You don't move first because you don't need to. And that stillness, it speaks volumes. But don't confuse this with arrogance. This isn't about being aloof. It's about containment, the kind of internal gravity that says, "I'm whole, I'm enough. I don't orbit anyone." Because here's the truth most people don't realize. The more you need to be seen, the less powerful you feel. The more you reach, the more you signal, "I need you to respond. I need to be met." You see it everywhere. Leaning forward, nodding too much, explaining when no one asked, oversharing just to fill silence. It's subtle, but it leaks your center, because real confidence doesn't perform. It doesn't beg. It doesn't try to pull people in. It just stands still and lets people lean toward it. Here's the Stoic angle. When you stop needing others to react a certain way, you reclaim your inner rule. Marcus Aurelius never reached. He responded when necessary, but never out of insecurity. So how do you build this restraint? In your posture, stay grounded. No leaning in to win approval. No anxious nodding. No body movements that ask for emotional feedback. Send the signal, "I'm here, and I'm not moving." In your speech, don't soften your truth. Say it clean. Say it once. No circling back to make them more comfortable. Your honesty is enough. In your presence, let silence breathe. Let awkward moments happen. Let them reach. You're not here to save the space. You're here to hold it. Because here's the truth. People who don't chase are harder to read. People who don't reach are harder to manipulate. And people who don't need are the ones we never forget. That's the paradox of detachment. You don't pull away from others. You just stop collapsing into them. And once you master this energetic neutrality, you'll find that the room starts leaning toward you without you lifting a finger. Now, imagine everything you've built so far. Stillness, the gaze, the economy of speech, the slow tempo, this detached power. And now, let's add gravity. Let's talk about how to become the axis of the room without ever trying to be the center. Strategy 6. Energetic gravity. Let them come to you. You've probably felt it before. Someone walks into a room, and without saying a word, they change the temperature. They don't rush. They don't perform. They don't broadcast. But suddenly, everyone notices. That's energetic gravity. It's not about being the loudest. It's not about having the most attention. It's about being so centered that everything else starts rotating around you. Most people, they project. They throw energy out, trying to be liked, trying to be accepted, trying to be seen. They reach out with smiles they don't mean, laughter they don't feel, words they didn't weigh. But people with presence, they don't project, they pull. Their silence is magnetic. Their stillness is anchoring. Their detachment makes others lean in without knowing why. Here's the Stoic truth. The man who has mastered himself doesn't need to chase any moment, because the moment will come to him. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stand firm like a cliff the waves keep crashing against. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That's what we're building now, a gravitational stillness. So how do you train it? Stop leaking energy. Don't speak to fill silence. Don't laugh when it's not real. Don't offer emotional signals just to be seen. Contain it, and the pressure of your stillness will do the work for you. Anchor before entry. Before you walk into any room, pause, lower your energy, feel your breath in your stomach, drop your shoulders, set the tone before you cross the threshold. Because you don't rise to meet the noise. You make the noise come down to meet you. Hold the center, not the spotlight. Let others chase attention. You chase alignment. Let them speak faster. You listen slower. Let them try to impress. You let silence do the talking. Because when you don't need to be the center, you become the axis, the silent core that pulls everything inward. And what happens next is always the same. They lean in. They lower their voice. They try to earn your reaction. They explain themselves, not because you demanded it, but because your restraint made them feel something. That's power, not by volume, not by display, but by weight. You're not imposing force, you're carrying presence. And when you reach that level, you don't need to prove anything. You simply are. Now let's pull it all together. You've learned the 6 strategies. Now it's time to understand why this quiet presence is the most commanding force you can carry. Let's close it out. You don't have to be loud to be felt. Let's get this straight. You don't need to raise your voice to raise the temperature in the room. You don't need to dominate others to command their respect. And you don't need to chase presence when you've become someone who embodies it. Because here's what you now understand. Stillness isn't passivity, it's signal. Eye contact isn't performance, it's pressure. Every word you speak gains force. When you no longer speak to be understood, your rhythm controls the emotional tempo. Your restraint reshapes the dynamic. And your gravity isn't loud, it's undeniable. See, you don't need to intimidate anyone. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to carry yourself in a way that makes people feel your weight before you say a single word. That's what presence is. It's not noise. It's not effort. It's the silence that unsettles, the calm that commands. The most powerful person in the room isn't the one who talks the most. It's the one who doesn't need to. So, if something in this hit you, if you're ready to move through the world, not as someone who reacts, but as someone who regulates the room, then here's your next move. Watch next. What you don't show is what makes you powerful. That's where we go deeper, into the mindset of someone so calm, so unreadable, that no one knows how to move them. And that's the real power. Not being louder, but being unmoved. I'll see you there.